Is there something, or one or two, three things that a woman can do when they're in their 30s and 40s to better prepare for perimenopause and menopause?
And the best thing to do is to start educating yourself. There are, certainly you can't stop menopause from happening. It is not going to stop. Currently, we have no ability to stop it from happening because what's happening is that your ovaries, over time, you're running out of eggs. And so once you run out of eggs, the eggs are actually the cells around the eggs are what make estrogen and progesterone for women. So you can't stop that from happening. However, you should know it's coming and you should know what tools you have to fight the symptoms as well as the potential chronic problems that it can bring later on.
And so could you do things now in your 30s or 40s that affect the chronic conditions and
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
certainly, healthy lifestyle is foundation, I think, to any longevity or health protocol. So, your diet, how much you move each day, your connections, your stress management, your sleep, all of those things are always foundational. And anytime we talk about any sort of other intervention, we always want to start with a good foundation. And a healthy foundation will help prevent future diseases. And there's some evidence that you may be able to delay menopause a little bit just by staying healthy, by not smoking, things like that. So, we do have some tools.
Estrogen and testosterone are both pretty misunderstood. I think the lack of knowledge about both of them, especially with testosterone in women as well.
Yes.
What is the biggest misunderstanding about both?
Well, with estrogen, I think there's still the myth out there that estrogen therapy causes or increases your risk of breast cancer.
Mm.
This is not true.
Okay.
And I think also for testosterone, the biggest myth is that women don't need testosterone. And this is also untrue. Women actually make and have more testosterone in their bodies than they do estrogen. And just like estrogen, it goes down as we get older. But unfortunately, men have many ways to replace testosterone. We have many pharmacologic options. Women have 0 FDA approved options for replacing testosterone.
Well, why is that?
It is because at least in the U.S., the FDA has just decided not to approve anything. The studies on testosterone they're not quite as good as the studies on estrogen, and people don't think it's as important as they probably should.
Very interesting. So let's say I'm someone who has nailed the lifestyle. I eat well, sleep well, great relationships, exercise, but my hormones are completely off. What is usually the cause of that?
It is very dependent on a lot of variables. But, it's certainly, if the lifestyle is completely perfect, which very few of us are perfect. So just to say that, I think we all try, but most of us are not perfect. But it could be any number of things. I mean, you can have polycystic ovarian syndrome where you're having some abnormal insulin responses or abnormal testosterone levels that can cause a lot of problems. It could be your thyroid and, it's nothing you're doing wrong, but your thyroid is not acting as it should. So when we talk about hormones, we're always casting a wide net. We're always checking a lot of different health metrics, metabolic markers. We're looking at blood tests. We're also asking how you're feeling and having a conversation and, what's bothering you. Are you sleeping well? Those kinds of things. So it's not ever just one thing, but we kind of have to look at all the different hormones, metabolic tests, talk to you, and then we can try to narrow it down from there.
Are there any patterns though? I know it's always going to be an N of one, so everyone's going to be slightly different, but do you see patterns recurring?
Absolutely. I think that stress is a big problem. I think even those of us who think that we're controlling it pretty well are probably not. Our world is so stressful now. We're always on our phones. We're always trying to do things all the time. So stress and being able to get into that parasympathetic, so out of the fight or flight and into the kind of rest and relax and receive is very difficult for modern people in general. And that affects your hormones in many different ways. You're not able to make many of the hormones you need to when you're in a state of chronic stress.
Thanks for watching this Beyond Tomorrow clip. If you haven't subscribed yet to our main channel, join us there for conversations that can help you thrive today and flourish tomorrow. We'll see you next time.